talk about something huge happening in the global economy. India's ambitious goal to become a product nation. We're going to dive deep into what it means to go from a country of consumers to a nation of creators. But when you hear a term like that, what does it really mean? Is it just about slapping parts together on an assembly line, or is there something deeper to it? That's really the core question. What's the difference between just being an assembler and becoming a true creator? So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, what exactly is the dream? Then we'll get into this really cool economic idea called the smile curve. After that, we'll face the reality, the hurdles, then the plan to get over them. And finally, we'll look at what this all means for the future of, well, making things. Okay, first up, the product nation dream. At its core, this whole thing is about a massive shift in a country's economic identity, moving from just buying things to actually making them. So what is a product nation? Think of it like this. It's a country that wants to be the chef, not just the customer at the restaurant. It's about designing the menu, creating the dishes, not just consuming what's for sale. We're talking about producing and exporting high-value goods, flipping the script from being a net importer to a net producer, a creator of stuff the whole world wants to buy. And you might be asking, so what? Why does this matter so much? Well, it is a huge deal. This isn't just about boosting the economy, though that's a big part of it. This is about power, about a country's influence on the global stage. It's the exact playbook that turned countries like South Korea and Japan into the economic giants they are today. Now, to really get the strategy here, we need to wrap our heads around this one brilliant economic concept. It shows you exactly where the real money is hiding inside any product you can think of. It's called the smile curve, and the idea is actually pretty simple. Imagine a U-shape, like a smile. All the big profits, the real value, are at the two high points of that smile. The very beginning, that's your research and development, your brilliant design ideas, and the very end, that's your branding, your marketing, the whole sales experience. And the middle part, the actual manufacturing, that's at the bottom of the curve, where the profits are the lowest. And if you want the perfect real-world example of this in action, look no further than the relationship between Apple and Foxconn. It is the smile curve in a nutshell. Just look at these numbers. They're staggering. Apple, the company that handles the design, the branding, the R&D, the high ends of the smile, is worth around $3 trillion. Now, Foxconn, the company that actually builds the iPhones, is worth about $85 billion. I mean, do the math. Apple is worth more than 35 times as much, simply because it owns the most valuable parts of the chain. And that right there is the whole game. The real value isn't just in making the thing, it's in dreaming it up and then selling that dream. This is exactly what the smile curve shows us. So, for India to become a product nation, it isn't just about building more factories. It's about climbing up the sides of that smile to capture the real prize. Okay, so the ambition is clear, the theory makes sense. But, it's never that simple, is it? Let's get real and talk about the major economic hurdles that are standing in the way. And look, the list of challenges is pretty long. We're talking about a serious gap in innovation and R&D, a massive reliance on other countries for critical parts, not enough private money being invested, and then you've got all the usual suspects, policy headaches, infrastructure problems. The list goes on. Let's put a hard number on this. Remember that R&D part of the smile curve, the really valuable part? Well, India spends just about 0.65% of its GDP on it. To put that in perspective, a country like South Korea, a true product nation, spends over 4%. That's not just a gap, that's a chasm. Next up, dependency on imports. Think about semiconductors. They're basically the brains inside every single piece of modern technology. Well, India has to import somewhere between 65 and 70% of them. That creates a huge vulnerability. It's like building a car but having to buy all your engines from somebody else. If their supply chain sneezes, you catch a really bad cold. And then you've got these deep structural issues. Take energy. More than 70% of India's electricity comes from coal. In a world that's sprinting towards sustainability, that poses a huge long-term challenge if you want to build a modern, resilient manufacturing sector. And when you add all of this up, you get to a really dangerous place. There's a critical risk here, and this quote absolutely nails it. The whole Make in India initiative could end up becoming just about the low-value assembly work. Getting stuck at the bottom of that smile curve, which would miss the entire point of this grand strategy. Okay, so that's the tough part. The challenges are very real. So what's the plan? What's the actual roadmap to get past these roadblocks and make this dream a reality? Well, it really boils down to a four-part game plan. First, you have to beef up manufacturing itself. They're doing this with special incentives for key areas like electric vehicles and electronics. Second, you go all in on infrastructure, better roads, ports, logistics, to make it easy to move stuff around. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, you invest in people through things like the Skill India initiative. And finally, you create spaces where new ideas can actually grow into real products, like innovation hubs and incubators. But here's the really exciting part. This whole strategy isn't just about playing catch-up. The vision is to leapfrog ahead, to jump straight to the next stage of industrial evolution, something called Industry 5.0. So what on earth is Industry 5.0? Well, it's not the sci-fi nightmare of robots taking all the jobs. It's actually the opposite. It's a vision where advanced tech, like AI and robotics, works with humans, not to replace them. Think of it as a partnership. You get the incredible precision and power of machines, combined with the creativity and critical thinking that only a human has. It's a human-centric approach to the future. And this model is built on three core pillars. First, it has to be human-centric. People come first, period. Second, it has to be sustainable. You can't build the future by wrecking the planet. And third, it has to be resilient. It needs to be tough enough to handle whatever the world throws at it, whether it's a pandemic or a supply chain crisis. And when you zoom all the way out, that brings us to the ultimate goal here. The entire push to become a product nation, guided by this vision of Industry 5.0, is about building a more independent and secure country. It's about reducing reliance on others and gaining the economic and strategic freedom to chart your own course. Which leaves us with one final, pretty crucial question to think about. In today's world, with all its geopolitical chaos and trade tensions, is this transformation just a choice for a country like India, or has it become an absolute, non-negotiable necessity for survival and success?